Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today's review, Top Tech markers. These are the ones right here. I'm going to show this marker. I'm going to take it out of the package. I'm going to show you what to use it for. And the old markers that I used to use. So this is my third marker I bought myself. And started off with one. Then I got another one. Well, then I got this one. And I tell you what, these are Top Tech markers. They're paint markers. They're not like the other type of markers that are like a permanent ink marker. These markers are just awesome, and today I'm going to show you why. Well, let's start off right here what I used to use and products that didn't quite make it. And this one here is called Markol Pro Max, and I tried this, and it's like an ink, and you know what? It didn't work too good because this is hard as a rock now. There's no flexibility to it. And of course, it leaks as well. So that one didn't do too good. It gets all over your hands. You could see it all over here. And this is the same brand. And this is a paint marker. And if I just get the cap off here. And it works great. The only problem I find is that this one here, this paint marker, which is a lot different than if you try to go with like a Sharpie. This is a permanent marker, but it's really only good for like on paper or cardboard or maybe even plastic. But there's no way that it lasts as long as these. The only problem with this one here, well, $10, right? So the price went up crazy over time and, you know, forget it. So I went with, the first one I got was this one here, which was the yellow. And I tell you something, it works fantastic, and it's really, really permanent. When they say permanent, I mean permanent. It goes on wet, it stays flexible. And then I went with the black, and I tried the black, and the black is just fantastic as well. And then today, well, I went with the white. And these Sakura are from Japan. And I think they're just awesome. I mean, I don't see any downside to it. I mean, they're definitely Top Tech as far as I'm concerned. And so today I got the white. And I don't need any other colors except, yeah, they come with this little cone on the top. And so I got the white, the black, and the yellow. So whenever I'm doing a review, I like to show how much I paid for it. So if we just take a look, here's the price that I paid for these, and they're all the same price no matter what color you get. And it does come in various colors as well. And so I decided to put, you know, I'll throw this up here so you can see all the different colors. Comes in 11 different colors, plus glow in the dark. Now I'm not too sure how many people would need that, but it actually does work and marks on everything, every piece of material that I've tried it on. And it's weather resistant, stays fresh, dries quickly. Like I say, it doesn't get stuck on your hands or anything. Always ready with the twist of the advance. So at the bottom of the marker, you just turn that clockwise and it'll push the marker paint stick up as you reduce the size over time. Permanent and low order. Now when I'm talking about permanent, yeah, you put this on something that you want to take off later, it's pretty tough. You got to pretty much use some brake clean or something, and if there's anything underneath it, you'll probably take that off with it, like paint or anything. And of course, it's good because it's non-toxic. Okay, so let's just take a look and see a couple of places where I use these markers and how advantageous it is for you to think about. Maybe you could use these markers for something. So let's just take a look at this first. So let's just go with this yellow marker. Now, how many times have any of you decided that, well, you want to put something on a panel, or you want to put something somewhere where people are going to pay attention to something, and you know, you want to mark it up so that, well, it actually shows, right? And like it goes on really like kind of greasy. And then when it only takes a couple of minutes. And there you go right there. I mean, that's not hard to do there. Just a little arrow. So, I mean, if it's on a piece of steel or plastic or even glass, that will be permanent and it will stay there forever. So let's go on to something else here. Okay, so I found that this type of a marker works great. Okay, so if you want to use yellow, that's fine. Now obviously white's no good. Or you could use black, whatever you want to have stand out. And what I do is I will get a piece of cardboard, put one of these colors on, and go out like say 100 yards and just put a couple of tacks on 4 corners on a piece of plywood for target practice when I'm plinking away with my gun, just for target practice. And you will see this orange or yellow or green, whatever highlight you want. I wouldn't recommend black at a distance, but you can get the fluorescent orange or even the yellow. It works like really good. So you could see that at a distance. So when I first started using markers, they weren't really kind of paint markers. They're like wax markers. Let's take a look at that next. Okay, so this is my old standby here. And I used to use these type on my tires. You know, if you got to mark a spot on your tire for like a nail or anything else, when you pull it out, you mark it. And the only thing I didn't like about these type of markers, and all of you that actually use these, well, you can't actually mark anything on them until you scrape off this layer on the outside first. Then it'll work. Right? But they are brittle, and I've pretty much given up these. I like using the paint markers better, and I'll show you what they look like on a tire. Okay, so we're underneath my truck now, and you could see, you know, like all pickup trucks, the back spare tire, and I just put this 45 psi on, so every year when I'm checking the tire pressure, I know how much is supposed to be in there, and if it's gone down any, well, you know, and it makes it so much easier. Instead of trying to look up what the spec is, well, that there is the paint marker right there in yellow. You could use white, and that there will stay on the vehicle for the life of the vehicle. I'll tell you, is that a bright white or what? And one of these markers will probably last me like 5 years easy. And not too many times do I ever see something that's made in Japan. Not where I am, not too many times, but this is quality stuff, you know, top notch as far as I'm concerned, and a lot better, especially to mark on tires. I use this to mark my garbage bins, especially on a windy day. They're blowing around all over the place, and you know, it's a marker that I've used for pretty much everywhere, and I haven't found it not to work on an area. And I'm talking about marking it in sub-zero weather, and you know, it doesn't melt off in the summertime. It's permanent, big time. So thanks for joining me here today. And if you're looking for these markers, well, just Google the the name, and you'll see the name in the title. And you know what? I think that the people who are actually looking for a good marker but don't know about the paint markers, they think that it kind of stays wet all the time. Well, no, these dry really good, and I think you'll be impressed, especially for the price. So, I mean, check the, like I buy these off of Amazon, but I mean, I don't know where you can get them else in the world. Just do a little bit of a, product search and see what price you come up with. So thanks for joining me here today. Come back again. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe and see some interesting reviews just like today. Cheers.